Variadic functions allows you to have multiple values, and you can have a string of different values and return different results from those values. Essentially, it gives your functions more flexibility. So we're going to combine a few lessons today in this example. So let's go ahead and start building our function. And what we're going to do is we're going to create a sum of some numbers. And we're going to use these dot values. And that essentially creates it to where we can have a flexible range here. You know, in our last example that we did, we only defined 2, and that's all we could do with the way we worded this particular function. But in this example, what we're doing is we're giving this a lot of flexibility. We're saying, hey, we can add in as many numbers or as few numbers as we want and get the sum total. So here what we're doing is we're going to do a print instead of a print line, and we're going to say nums, and we're going to say total is 0. That way we got a starting point. And now we're going to create a for loop, and we're going to use our famous underscore as we've used in the past. And we're going to say for each number that we have a range of numbers, we're going to add them together. We're going to take the total and we're going to add whatever that number is to that total. And then what we're going to do is we're going to do a print line and total that number out. So there's our whole function. We're saying, let's go back through this again because there's a few things going on here. We're creating a function called sum. In that sum, we're going to have numbers, and we're not defining how many numbers we have. We could pass 2, we could pass 3, we could pass whatever amount of numbers that we want. We're going to print those numbers out, and then we're going to define this total. And in this for loop, we're going to take this total and add each of the numbers that we pass through to this function and add them together, and then we're going to print out that total. So now in our main function, our main program, let's go ahead and take this sum. We're going to pass 2 numbers to it. Then we're going to do another sum, 2 and 3. And lastly, we're going to have a nums. We're going to create another nums. And we're going to say that this is an integer. And in this integer, we're going to do 1, 2, 3, and 4. And then sum is nums, because nums is best. Nums. All right, let's run this and see what happens. So in here, what we're doing, let me lower this down some so we can see this together. Create our function, and now what we're doing is we're calling that function. Now you notice we're not doing print line down here. We're just saying for sum, here's the numbers that we're passing. It's already built into the function that we want, that print line. And so we've got this first print line, or not print line, but print. And that's what's giving us this, because we're saying, hey, 1 and 2. Then it's going through the for loop and giving us the total. And that's the 2, or the 3 rather. So this is giving us our slice, right? Our array, and then giving us the total out, just like we did 6 down here. And then we've got 10 down here because we're saying, hey, I want you to take these, and then out of this variable of nums, we want you to add that together by passing it through this function. So essentially, another way that we could write this whole thing is basically just how we did it up here. We just do sum 1, 2, 3, 4, right? Now we're just showing a different way of writing it out, which is passing this array into this variable and then calling this variable through this function. So this is a handy little way of making a flexible function that we want to be able to pass multiple values to and do something with. Now this is a pretty simple example here, but I mean, hey, we're going through, we're learning, right? So next lesson, we're going to talk about closures.